What is up? What's up? I'm gonna enable the chat 1 second. How's everyone doing today? I hope we're all doing good. You guys can chat now. Wait a few minutes. Man, guys, I'm excited for today. I'm excited for the things that I'm building for you guys. It's giving me a lot of motivation, seeing all the feedback. Got Brian, Josephine, Soul, Danny. Nice having you guys. I would suspect this isn't going to be the biggest crowd, but if you're in a place like the Philippines or in India, I really appreciate you being here because it's probably pretty late for you, I would guess. That shows a level of commitment and congruence that not a lot of people have. So I really appreciate you guys showing up and shows that you guys actually want to get results, right? So we'll begin here pretty quickly. This isn't going to be a huge crowd, but this video is gonna be uploaded on YouTube and it's gonna be uploaded on a few other things. I just want to get this interview out here for you guys, provide some value into your life. What's up, guys? We'll begin in just a minute. So just so you guys are aware today, this is going to be an interview with one of my close friends and former business, not business partners, but he used to work with me under at 7th level. If you guys don't know, 7th level is what is the fastest growing sales training organization in the United States. They onboard 400 to 500 high ticket clients over $3,000 a month. And I have an individual that's coming on that I've personally coached that's worked there, and he's had far more success with appointment setting than me. And he actually has his own community. He has his own processes, and I want him to come in here and spread a little bit of wisdom for at least 30 to 45 minutes. Now, is that fair enough? You guys have any questions? If you guys have any questions for Taylor O'Hare, which is going to be the one showing up, please post them in the comments now. I already have a set list of things that some of you guys have asked me before that I'm going to be asking him, but this is about you guys. Again, it's not about me. You don't care about me. You care about getting the results, right? So if you have any questions about appointment setting, becoming a growth specialist, networking, developing, please comment them in the chat now. If not, then hey, it has no impact on me. Give me 1 second. All right. So I've gotten extremely good feedback from the training that I delivered to you guys the other day. And you guys seem to have enjoyed the aspects and the concepts that I've trained in those documents where you have step-by-step processes on how to actually get the network that you want. And I know I've talked about this before, but I'm in the middle of building and launching a subscription program. It's not going to cost a lot of money, but it's going to be for the top 1% of people in here that actually want to get the top placement, top skill sets, and top network. I'm in the middle of making a networking training where I'm going to be giving you more further step-by-step processes for you to actually get the results that you want compared to most people. So I'm extremely excited for that. Steven, what's up, bro? Haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Chris. So is that fair enough, guys? Are you guys excited for that? Again, I'm gonna do the first week for free of the group because of the paid subscription group because I want you guys to actually get value and see what you're getting first of all. Fair enough. Woo! You guys are awesome crowd today. This is good. This is good. Um, 1 second. Yvette's in here. Steven. Cool. So Taylor's gonna join in about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, I wanna I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story in the meantime, or it looks like Taylor's here now. I'll save that story for later. I'm gonna pull Taylor up. Just promoted you to panelist, dog. Turn on your camera.
Right. Can you guys see me? I'm in my car at the moment. Hopefully that's come through. All good?
Yeah, bro, we're good. Nice to see you if you're in a car, if you're in an office, we're here.
Yeah, I've got to make do with it. My wife booked in a cleaner at the totally wrong time, so I've had to resort to this. I'm probably going to sleep here tonight as well, but it is what it is. I was looking forward to your story, Chris. I was hoping you'd get on to that.
We'll get onto that later. I have a few stories. But
All good.
yeah, guys, we have about 17 people in the Zoom, and then we have about 15 people in other streaming platforms. This is like I said, this is going to be uploaded on YouTube. This is long overdue. I wanted to introduce you guys to a close friend of mine and a former colleague, Taylor. Um, Now, as you guys know, I was one of the original setters for seventh level. Taylor single-handedly was the person that took the reins from me, and not only took the reins, but outperformed me, beat all of my records. And now he's not only one of the top appointment setters in the space in terms of revenue, but he's also teaching appointment setters on how to actually find and get access to the right networks and the right opportunities as well. Um, I won't I won't do a huge introduction for you. I think that's best for you. But now what Taylor is doing is he's consulting and he's managing some of the top setting teams in the industry. And I want him to come in here and spread a little bit of quality content in here so you guys can get the results that you want. So without further ado, no pressure. Introduce yourself, Taylor.
No pressure. Jeez, you didn't make it easy for me at all there, did you, Chris? That's
Yeah.
fine. I'll cope. But yeah, so as far as what Chris said, he's covered everything pretty well. As far as sales goes, I've lived and breathed it for nearly 6 years. So it's been a long journey. I started door-to-door sales before this, and that was probably the best experience that I had. It really helps me to do well in the high ticket space because oftentimes we can take things for granted. I think if we haven't been through a lot of difficulty. So if anyone here has thought about door to door sales, I would always recommend it. It's obviously a great experience. But then obviously, I wanted to kind of do sales on my own terms, and I figured doing a job for sales or like door to door, it was too restricting. So I
Yeah.
entered the space of course, with a mentor, JD Daly, that we both share, who's helped us out a hell of a lot in our journeys.
Yes, sir.
And so here I am eventually going from, having worked in appointment setting roles, Jeremy Minor, Pompa program, just finished with Legendary Marketer as a closer, but now doing my own thing, recruiting, coaching, working for Nick Elia at doneforyousales.com. So a whole new journey at this point. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited to get into the Q&A and see what I can do to help you guys.
Awesome. So how most appointment setting communities and most people, they sell a dream of appointment setting and they say, hey, you can come in, make 5 to 10K a month. And what most of these communities do is they teach like the hard skill sets of following a script and understanding workflow and all that stuff. You know just as well as me that it's not necessarily the skill set, but it's about the vehicle that you're in. And a lot of the time, they don't teach you how to network to put yourself in the best positions to get access to these opportunities like me and you've had, where although our skill sets weren't amazing, we were able to not only appointment set, but do many different roles in a company. And it allowed us to become more than an appointment setter. You can kind of say of like a growth specialist in terms of like you have generalized, specialized knowledge in a lot of areas of of business. And I guess my question for you is nothing good in life comes easy and comes fast. But you rose to the top pretty fast, dude. So, in your mind, if you could help people out here, what was the main reason for you and your career growing so fast? And what was some of your biggest lessons that you learned?
There's obviously a few areas, and like I think what I want to preface it is by saying that whatever the marketers tell you about you just need to work on your skills and then you'll get everything you want is absolutely false.
Yeah.
Appointment setting and having a general career in this online space, it's a holistic perspective. First of all, working on yourself, who you are, what your values are, what your vision is, and what you stand for. Very, very important.
Yeah.
Yes, skill set, of course, it's very important, but also how to build relationships in the space, how to build a reputation so that people behind your back are talking good things about you, which then leads to having great appointment setting roles, right?
Yeah.
That's been something that it takes time, those kind of things. And that's got to the case where I'm speaking to people now and they're saying, I've heard a lot of great things about you. And that I've not even connected with that person, right? And
Yeah.
I didn't even know who they are. And it's like that, those kind of things are what's super important. And I think what's helped me to rise quickly is, for one, investing in mentorship and help. Investing with JD was the first thing I ever did before I stepped into the space. And if I
Yeah.
didn't, I'd probably be on a longer, harder road. So,
Yeah.
firstly, doing that was the best decision that I made, hands down, investing into help. And I did that even before the online space. Like I joined Tony Robbins' program, his wealth mastery program, his UPW. I've invested so far probably about 25K,
Yeah.
speaking dollars terms, as far as like my own help. So whether that's buying books, like you want to see my bookshelves,
Yeah.
or courses, or just anything that I can learn, I would invest into. Right.
Yeah.
And any time that I noticed that I wasn't aggressive on that development, then I probably wasn't going to level up and get to the meteoric rise. And to be fair, making those connections and learning from JD is what helped me get in with you guys at seventh level at that beginning phase. So
That's awesome.
that's yeah, that's the summary, I guess.
And it's not only that, like a lot of people think like investing in yourself is just taking money out of your account and putting it into a mentorship. And I mean, you see this a lot within college and university graduates. They pay the money and they don't get the skill set. They get the certificate, but they don't actually learn anything, right? So it's not necessarily about always investing in capital into these things, but it's investing your time and your energy and commitment to actually doing these things. We're at a point now in society where we live in an information age. We don't have a lack of information. What we have is a lack of application. You can get access to any information for any subject in the world for free on the internet. It's just about not only investing in yourself financially, but like putting in the time. The reason why people pay for mentorship is because people pay to pay attention and accountability, right? So having that is extremely crucial. I guess my next question for you is, as someone that actively works with a bunch of appointment setters that were maybe sold a dream or looking to get into a position, what do you think the biggest mistake most appointment setters make whenever they're first starting?
Um, well, first of all, I want to preface that for a lot of appointment setters that do come into the space, it's not your fault, right? Unfortunately, you have been sold a dream and you've been given expectations of what this is, which are not really accurate, to be honest. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that the marketers are totally not accurate. I mean, they say it for a reason. There are some um, truth to it, but they don't give you the whole picture. They give you the best of the whole picture, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad stuff in there. So I would say the biggest thing that, and I struggled with this when I started. It was at a point at Sales Sniper where I nearly got fired because of it.
I
But
remember.
it was the entitlement, right? Entitlement was the biggest thing, and it was like, because I was part of an offer when I started. It was just not great. I was not enjoying it. I was being so resourceful in that offer, and I was just told, "Oh, wait, we're looking at something." I was getting frustrated, to the point where it's like, oh, I just think I'll get something else. And the way I work is that if I know I'm not going to be in that offer, I just like don't commit. Like I just don't do any work. It's one of those things where I'm very much all or nothing, and that's to my own detriment. Like it's one of those things where you have to really commit to it and work like an entrepreneur inside the role,
Yeah.
right? Becoming entitled is where you start to, kind of it's what Matt Ryder would say about the baby birds, right? You just want to get fed without really doing a whole lot,
Yeah.
right? Like at the end of the day, it's you that needs to contribute to that business. And the way that you are as a setter, you don't have a job. Like
Yeah.
you are a service-based business charging for your services to increase
Yes.
the revenue of that business.
You are
That's who you
you
are.
are a contractor. You are a
100%.
freelancer getting paid for your skill sets, right? So that's why, like, I'm sure you can relate, like, how you have success in this online spaces, even if you're working for a business that you don't own, treating it like it's your business.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, whenever you have that mindset subconsciously, you're going to be able to let other people around you know that you have the best interest of the business in mind, but you're also willing to go above and beyond to actually help it grow. Now, going above and beyond doesn't mean you have to work extra hours, right? But it's the fact that like you're showing up and you're showing commitment. I guess my next question following up with that is if you could go back to the beginning of your career and around the time whenever you were at Sales Sniper and all that stuff, what is one piece of advice you would tell yourself? And what do you think most people are missing at the beginning of their journey?
So I would say right at the beginning, I mean, definitely if you find somebody that you admire, that you respect, that shares the same core values as you,
Yeah.
and is in a position that you're in, invest into their help. Do whatever you can to get help from them, right? Be resourceful. If you don't have the money to invest in a program,
How though?
find a way
Like
to
if
invest
if
in
you
it.
could give a definition, whenever you say being resourceful to these people, because some people don't understand this. What do you
Mm.
mean by resourceful? How can you give value to someone?
So when you're being resourceful, you're using whatever you have available at that time and using things that are beneficial to those I guess those people that you want to connect with in a way that it doesn't actually take from your bank account,
Yes.
right? So for example, with JD Daily, like I didn't really have the money. Like I had the initial money for the payment plan and I just had to kind of work with it like when I started. But one thing that I did do was, I was liking the content, I was commenting, I was, sharing bits about it and appreciating it and making it more public.
You were being a
So with
human.
those, do I say that again? I missed the audio.
You were being a human. You were actually interacting with people. You weren't just a ghost.
Yeah, that's 100% important because if you don't connect with people, for one, you're not on the radar of that person. So
Yeah.
they don't know who you are, they don't believe you, they don't trust you, right? But you kind of create trust from afar until it gets to the
Yes.
point where they really want to go at bat for you, right? And even though let's say you can't afford it, they still want to support, integral people like JD would want to work with you until you can get to that point,
Yeah.
right? So it's being able to first understand yourself,
Yeah.
right? So I would even go back further than that actually and say that get a real like audit of who you are, what you
Yes.
stand for, what you believe in. Otherwise, you're going to fall into too many roles that you don't align with, and it
Yes.
just becomes a waste of your time.
How important is it for you to have intention about what kind of role you want to get into and who you want to work with? Because for some people, they come in this industry and they're like, I don't care who I work with. I just want to make money. Like how
Yeah.
important is it for you, or do you think it is to have intention in that regard?
Well, yeah. I mean, like let's take sales out of the equation, right? Like if you're somebody that's very handy, very hands-on, like you're just good, you're good at building stuff, right? You're not going to go and say to someone, well, I want to be a financial controller,
Yes.
right? Like you're going to go for roles where you can really be as hands-on as possible, even if it means that you're one of the producers of like some new like Lego or something like that, or
Yeah.
whatever that might be. Like whatever helps you to be as creative as possible with your own strengths.
Mhm.
So when it comes to sales, you treat it the same way. Yes, sales is like, oh, you speak to people and you make a sale. That's the very highest level of understanding it,
Yeah.
right? But if you really zoom in a lot more, it's like, well, if what would I actually buy out there that really interests me, right? And you kind of need to take yourself through the buyer journey
Yeah.
to understand that. not only does that help you to figure out what you would even like to sell,
Yeah.
but it also helps you to figure out, I suppose what you would, like, I suppose, yeah, like what you would enjoy, but also it's figuring out the specific niches that you feel that you would perform well in, that you would get the best out of yourself in. So,
Yeah.
I kind of lost my train of thought midway through that, but that's the big thing, is you take yourself through that buyer journey to actually better understand the prospects as well, and you can empathize and communicate with connection. That's a huge difference between selling something that you're not too big on, to be honest.
Whenever I first started, I had a lot of people telling me, find the industry that you want to work with, find the person that you want to work for. And for a lot of people, they may just not know what they just don't know what they don't know. And they came into this online space where, yes, they have hobbies and passions outside of it, but they may not necessarily know who they want to work with. If you could give like a quick summary, like if someone is in that situation, how do they get out of it? And how do they understand the first direction to actually go towards?
With figuring out who they want to work with, well, it's once again going through like what do they enjoy, right? And that's the first thing. That's like going to like the ultimate offer that you want to work for. You always start with the most ideal, like the dream, and you work towards that. Not
Yeah.
that you're going to land that the first time, you won't. But if you land offers that are closer towards achieving that dream, then at least you're working towards something.
Hmm.
But as far as like the first proper step, I think the main thing is to really focus on, yes, your tendencies, right? Like even speaking with your like speaking with your parents. Like when I was a kid, what did I enjoy to do so much? Like what was it I always spoke about and was really passionate about? Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, I don't know if any of you guys are the same, but my memory is horrific. Like I can't remember really much when I was a kid, but I would speak to my parents and be like, what did I enjoy the most? And it helped me understand more about myself and what my tendencies are. So I think definitely understanding things from that perspective is
Yeah.
super crucial. But also it's one of those things where it needs to, yes, go in and be for passion, but passion without business sense doesn't add up. Like for example, if you're majorly passionate about fidget spinners, you're not going to sell them high ticket,
Yeah.
right? Unless you create some wild program on how to like be a world-class fidget spinner, which is probably even not going to sell for that much anyway.
Exactly.
Like, it's you need to figure out what are those niches that make business sense. And typically it falls under four,
Hmm.
which is make money online or helping businesses to make money,
Yeah.
fitness and health, and relationships, and then personal development. Those are the four that typically is where the money definitely can be made if we're talking 5K a month plus with
Yeah.
some really good offers out there.
Yeah. You bring up a really interesting point. I want to ask you about this specifically. One thing that whenever I was working with Iman, he said this a lot in his team meetings, but he also says this on like a lot of reels. A lot of the time, people that are in this online space, if they're starting their own agency, if they're looking to become an appointment setter, they already have all the skill sets needed to be successful. They already have the DM skill sets. They already have the branded profile. They might already be doing the outreach, putting themselves out there. But one thing that I think a lot of people struggle with, because we're in a new age of technology, is that one word of focus and memory. A lot of the time, if we as people focused for an extra hour or two a day on the things that we want, uninterrupted, we'd be far ahead of 99% of people. Focus is a really big issue in this space, and I think it prevents a lot of people. So I guess for you, like, what have you done as an appointment setter and as someone that's coached teams to help yourself stay more focused towards your goals, but also the people below you?
Well, for one, I am still working on focus all the time, right? Naturally, as a salesperson, we naturally have very much lizard brains. Like we kind of think on, firing all cylinders. And I have kind of ADHD type tendencies with focus, so it's something that I've struggled with, like being frank. But the main thing I've noticed is, yes, like just going to the bare bones and working with your Google Calendar is like the first thing to do,
Yeah.
right? So like on my Google Calendar is what I do, and before I end every day, I'll make sure I blocked out what I fully want blocked out for the next day. I'm literally doing things day by day right now
Okay.
because of the
So
projects that I've got.
so you think it's important then to make sure that you have your day scheduled the day beforehand?
I definitely would say so, and it's what I did in seventh level, even weekly as well as monthly.
Yeah, because how are you supposed to do the things you're supposed to do if you're not prepared? Like it blows my mind. Like with like appointment setting, you're rarely ever doing just appointment setting. You're managing leads, you're managing a pipeline, you got to hop on calls with your team. You got to solve problems because as an appointment setter, you're also basically the front end guy and they lay all the work on you.
Yeah,
A huge part of having that success is getting those things done in a focused manner in a shortest amount of time. And scheduling your day beforehand has single-handedly been the most important thing that's ever happened in my life. Like on every
yeah,
Sunday, looking at like, okay, what are the three needles that I need to move this week to actually get to where I want to be? And for appointment setting, a lot of the time, like I said, it's not the skill sets because we've worked on similar offers before, Taylor, and we can confidently say that we've worked with appointment setters. Although they're amazing people, they're not the best appointment setters, right? But it's all about the vehicle that you're in. And how you get the vehicle that you're in is you have focused time towards not only learning how to set higher quality appointments and have more skill sets, but also putting the time to brand yourself, to network, to give without asking for anything in return. There's nothing guaranteed in life but death and taxes. But if you're consistent with this, it'll become very hard for you not to get the results you want, right? And it's crazy that most of these people just push that, oh, you just need to learn the skill set, or you just need to learn how to sell more. I guess my next question for you is, um, this online industry has changed a lot. For some of you that are relatively new to appointment setting, this whole space has gone through this whole dance since 2020, whenever COVID happened. Everyone got free money. The high ticket sales industry blew up. Everyone was making courses and opportunities were a dime a dozen. Now we're in a point in the economic cycle of the world and in this industry where jobs are a little bit more slim. A lot of people are tired of mediocre offers and mediocre appointment setters. And because of that, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're not going to stand out. Compared to 2 or 3 years ago, it would have been a lot more easy.
yeah,
So I guess my
100%.
yeah, I guess my question for you is, what do you think the future trends of this online industry are? And how do you think that appointment setters can be best prepared for these trends that are coming? And how can they best put themselves in the position to get access to the right networks and vehicles so they can make upwards of 5, 10K months?
Yeah, I would say I actually made a video about this and posted it on my YouTube recently.
Yeah,
With like, is it worth doing appointment setting? And what I mentioned about was the FTC changes that have happened, right? With there
yeah,
being more regulation than there's ever been before, is definitely a major thing. Um, can you guys still hear me, by the way? You've
yeah, I
totally
can,
cut out
bro.
there, Chris.
It's just my camera.
You
I
can.
think I'm back.
Right, right, right. Okay, cool. Yeah, so as I was saying, so I think with the FTC changes, with the regulations, that's going to play a massive part in, as opposed to there being a
Can you
large
break
quantity
down
of
that
offers.
quickly? Because most people don't know what the FTC is. They're like, what is the
Oh,
FTC?
okay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So in the US, it's known as the Federal Trade Commission. We have something similar in the UK that's like that regulates everything, like the Financial Conduct Authority is what we call the FCA here in the UK. But FTC, they are monitoring everything. I was recently a part of an offer where the news actually, well, they tried to expose us as a company, but we were actually doing everything totally ethically.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, a lot of people nowadays and companies, FTC, they're trying to catch people
Companies
out
FTC.
for making
Yeah.
even any sort of implied claims, right? So even if they say, oh, I'd like to make 10K a month, and you say, well, okay, it seems like we might be able to help with that. Even if you imply it, you are breaking the law,
So what
right?
you're
So with
saying
that,
is like most online companies that are selling high ticket are now becoming regulated because what's happening
absolutely,
now, high ticket courses and influencers and info product companies, they're now becoming more popular than learning institutions in college and universities. And this has
yeah,
happened extremely fast. And there's so many people that these government entities haven't been able to catch up to actually regulate this industry properly up until now. But go ahead.
Exactly. They're going to make it like the corporations we see today. That's what they're probably likely going to try and do.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it, although this is happening and it causes people to panic, it actually takes away a lot of the unethical businesses, people that don't do very nice things, and just make the industry seem like an absolute scam, to be frank. So it's exciting, and I'm very, very excited about those changes. But
Yeah.
also, this is a perfect chance for those setters who do focus on improving their skills, connecting, building their brand to, that's going to further enhance their career, because there's not going to become many setters if they're doing the wrong things. Most
Yes.
bad ones will be filtered out, and it will improve all of us with our quality. So it's even more important now to level up your skills whilst this change is happening in this transition, to actually stay ahead of that curve. I know I hate it when marketers say, "Oh, you'll get left behind," that type of marketing. Like, I don't appreciate that at all. But it's like, it's one of those things where it's like you're in or you're out based on your level of growth. Like, that's what's really crucial.
Yeah.
And I read an interesting stat that I posted on my YouTube. So based on the current market valuation of the education space online, it's valued at about 70 billion as of 2022, right?
Yeah.
So it might even be a little bit more now. But they predicted with current growth trends by 2031 it will be 269 billion,
Wow.
right? So that's like a massive,
Like 5x.
like, I don't even know the maths on that. That's like at least a 5x growth. Like, that's insane. And
Yeah.
so I looked at the calculations and I thought, well, if I made a million, how much, like, what is the percentage of that? And it's literally like 0.0005% for me to
Exactly.
just have a chunk of that million. And I just think, if you're trying to aim for 10K a month, think bigger, because the industry is going to be way bigger than you think it is. Yes, more regulated, but you've got to do the right things, do it ethically, and it will make you money as well.
I wanna
That's
I
the way
wanna
I
ask
see it.
a question on that because I think you bring up a very important point where personally with me and you, how we've been able to advance so fast and have access to these huge networks and all these opportunities is because we've viewed ourselves as more than just an appointment setter. We're more growth specialists. And what that means is like we have generalized knowledge about how most things in business work. Me and you could probably go into a business and consult them and have a good idea of what's preventing them from having more money. It's not because we're better than anyone. It's not because we're more handsome than anyone, but it's just because we've had the raw experience of going into these businesses and understanding what makes a good business from a bad business, learning from good managers, bad managers, etc. So my question to you is, besides appointment setting and sales and communication, in order for these guys to capitalize on these emerging trends, what skill sets do you feel like are going to be in high demand that they can use on top of their appointment setting skills to gain leverage to make upwards of 10 to 15K months? Like, what do you think are some crucial skill sets like they need to learn?
So I'm actually going to reference Andrew Tate. Like, I love his business advice. I think he's an absolute master, absolute genius.
Right.
And one thing that he says a lot is the word perspicacity. Not just because the word sounds very sexy, but I just, it really stood out to me when he said it, when he defined it,
Yeah.
which is, it's literally paying attention to what's going on around you and noting it down, and realizing why things happen. So, an analogy that he gave is, let's say that you go to a coffee shop, right? And you notice that they have, like, the let's say in Starbucks you get like the coffee and they have all the different sizes, and they have the little add-ons that make you want to buy a little bit more. And it's like, when you buy that, you think, well, how did I make that decision to actually buy that coffee? What made me do it? Like, the coffee, no, like the coffee shop, was it located in a place that was convenient for me? Was the name of it more appealing? Was the logo more appealing than this logo? Like, you're just paying attention to everything that's making you make a decision. And that's how a sale is made, is decisions,
Yes.
right? So it's breaking all of that down. And what you'll notice is go into your current offer, understand why people buy, why do people even come through the funnel, why are they even interested in what you do, notice the patterns when you're speaking with them of what they want. And that's the key thing, is like noticing things, right? And like being part of seventh level, Pompa program, legendary marketer, these guys are all at least 2 million a month businesses. So having worked in these massive environments, I noticed a common pattern with the way that they marketed their systems, how they set up their communication channels in Slack, how, what SOPs that they had. And it's just noticing and paying attention.
Yeah.
If you're so zoned in and focused on, I want to set appointments, I want to make money, which to be fair, for most of my career, I was focused on that. But
Yeah.
luckily, my memory has served me, luckily, through being in those offers. So I remember quite a bit. But
Yeah.
that's what's important is whilst you're there in those offers, pay attention to what's going on, right? Like create a doc of like, how are they doing the sales? How are they doing the fulfillment? How are they doing the marketing? And then when you see a startup company, a business owner trying to make it big, you say, well, I'm part of Jeremy Miner's team and they actually do things this, and this way to help them to grow. So is that something you'd even be open to? And I guarantee a business owner's like, what? You worked for Jeremy Miner? Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to have like some of the processes he has. And you realize that you've already created a market for yourself already. And I was so blind to that. I didn't even realize that like I had so much value to add just from being in those environments. Right. So
Yes.
that's a big point.
That's what I'm hitting on the head. Like your unmasked how do you say it? Perspicacity. You have
Unmasked. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's a very good point. Like being observant of things around you, because I guarantee like everyone here, they have some sort of network. They have some sort of relationships with people that are maybe higher or lower than in this field. You can learn so much about business just by observing where you're currently at. And one thing that's the truth, and I tell my guys this all the time, and this isn't to offend anyone that we've worked with or anything, but 99% of businesses don't have any idea what they're doing. They're modeling off
they
of
look like it and act like they do sometimes, but honestly, and I would say that for myself, me running my own thing, I have no idea what I'm doing a lot of the time and I need a lot of support. So I think all of us do.
and that's the thing, like certainty overcomes your doubt. So as an appointment setter, if you can come into these businesses and you can not only position yourself as an appointment setter, but also having generalized knowledge in multiple areas of business, you're going to be ahead of everyone else financially, but also in terms of like being promoted. Like
Yeah.
it's insanely easy to learn things like copywriting and paid ads and all these things, especially with artificial intelligence, where you don't have to do any work. And if you can leverage things like artificial intelligence and learn these generalized skills, that's how you're going to gain more leverage. And how you gain more leverage, or I guess what happens whenever you gain more leverage is you become more valuable, which then will turn into more money into your pocket, right? So yeah, no, this has been a super helpful interview for me, and I hope it helps some people here. Do you have any like last words or any last words of advice for anyone in here that's maybe in appointment setter now, they're transitioning, or they're looking to get into high level opportunities?
Yeah, I would say just before you try and dive in, try and go from offer to offer, find that 10K month that you've been marketed to. First of all, just peel the layers back, right? Understand yourself in the best way possible. Do a self inventory. It's very important. And
Yeah,
then, first of all, figure out key players that you're influenced by, that you respect, that share the same values as you, that share some of the visions that you have that you'd like to connect with. That's like, create a list of that, and companies as well that are included in those lists. Once you understand those things before going to take action, you then want to figure out and actually find somebody that you can learn from to help you execute that and to
yes,
be able to make that vision a reality. Doing things yourself, don't get me wrong, you can. And I know that, like, for those, it might be the cheaper route for you. However, if you do, it's the same sentence again. If you buy cheap, you do buy twice. It takes you longer, it's harder. It's always worth going the extra mile. Whenever I felt like I've not had the money to invest in myself and I've done it anyway, it has paid tenfold. And I continue to do it now, and it always will.
yeah,
So like you have to make that first investment to understand what I'm saying. For
yeah,
those of you that haven't invested into help, you will not understand what I'm saying. You think that I'm just trying to sell you shit.
yeah,
That's how you're going to feel about it. But the reality is, look at where I am, look at where Chris is, look at where some of the guys that you're looking up to
yeah.
are in their career, right? It's all about situations and where people are at.
People pay attention.
Yeah.
So I can give you the best advice and the best scripts and the best networking tips for free right now, guys. But because you're not paying for it, you're not going to value it. Because you don't value it, you're not going to apply it. So this is why, like, I'll tell you a story quickly. Like, if you guys look up to like Alex Hormozy and ClickFunnels, I actually had a buddy that went to one of their events. They pay $50,000 to fly out to be coached by Russell Brunson or Alex Hormozy. But you know what's crazy? You know what's covered in these master classes that they pay $50,000 for? It's the exact same stuff that they cover in their books or in their $2,000 courses. The reason why people go is so that they can get approval by someone they respect to do something that they already know they should be doing.
Mm,
AKA they have to
yeah.
pay the attention to actually do the things because all the information they're getting for free on YouTube, they're not going to value it. Right. So it's a very good point. And that's why like moving forward, like with Taylor doing his own community and his own things, like our goal here, guys, is to not break the bank, but have some sort of subscription service where you guys can come in, invest in yourself so you can pay attention, right? Um, so I really appreciate your time here today, Taylor. If anyone in here is watching this and wants to get in contact with you or maybe wants to learn more about like your coaching, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, so I would say, well, Facebook's the main one where I'm pretty active. So literally Taylor O'Hare O apostrophe HARE.
Awesome.
Add me. My profile is locked if you're not a friend with me, but just add a friend request. Send me a spam message and just let me know you've come from this, and of course I'll accept your request.
Yeah.
Also my YouTube channel, it's High Ticket Tay. And the picture is of me in Italy on the beach somewhere. So you'll see where it is. It's on 100 odd subscribers, I think. So have a look at those, look through my videos, give me some comments, likes, give me the things that feedback that will help me to grow the channel and just help me to do the best that I can and provide good content. And then my website as well, which provides more details about me, what I offer, services wise. So yeah, I can always put that in the description as well. So yeah, YouTube and Facebook's the main ones, I would say.
Yeah. Looks like
Cheers, Amir. You legend.
Amir's
Good
the
stuff,
plug.
mate. Absolutely is. He's the connector. He's the guy. If you read Tipping Point, Amir, you'll be the connector guy. Make sure you read that book. That's a good one.
That's awesome. Well, look, guys, I appreciate you. Big things are coming with the community. Big things are coming with more partnerships, and you guys are going to have an immense amount of value here from not only me, but also Taylor if you follow him. And we're slowly changing the industry and how appointment setters are perceived. Our goals here is to put you in the best position to have success, not only in your sales life, but also personal life. Because a lot of the times, in order to have the money that you want, have access to the vehicles that you want, you have to become that person, right? So we're gonna do your best to help you become that person. If you need anything, let me know. If you guys could please send me a video testimonial of your feedback for Taylor so I can send it to him, it would be extremely helpful. I will see you guys soon. Don't have too much fun, all right? Thank you,
Cool.
Taylor.
Cheers for having me. Take care, guys. Have a good one.